these wealth transfers that's happened, and like Bayana said, 1929, and then in 1942 when they started the war.
World War II.
In the 60s, the Vietnam War. In the 80s, the dot-com war. The dot-com bubble. I mean, all of these wealth transfers that happened throughout history, we just didn't see them.
And they always tell us, you have the war on terror, the war on drugs, right? The war on poverty. All of these wars are only fought over one thing, and that's resources. But they lie and say, oh, this is a holy war, this is a religious war. But no, they went into Iraq and took all of Nebuchadnezzar's gold under Saddam Hussein. You know, the war on drugs, they went into freaking Afghanistan and took all the poppy fields. You know, the war on drugs, they went into South Central LA and took over all the black neighborhoods. And they did it all over, wasn't just LA, but they did it all over America. But the CIA tested the whole platform on LA. You know, but it's all about the wealth, man. It's all war has always been about resources, always. And like
it comes to a point where it's all about taking. They're taking. They don't know what to do. They don't know what else to do but take. This is the reason why the Lord says when we get back to the land, He brings us back to the land. He said they will learn the war no more. They're going to learn war anymore because they're not going to be taking anymore. Because that's why when the financial system starts collapsing, then they say, shoot, we got to start a war. We got to generate more dollars. We got to expand the dollar supply. How do we do that? Oh, let's start a war. World War I, World War II. Now Russia's about to invade the Ukraine. What do you think is going to happen there? World War III. Something's going to happen. We don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But you know what, Daviya, that might be a good thing to find out if the scriptures, prophesy about Russia going into the Ukraine. But then again, that's all one landmass. And just like Dawiya said, we know that there's got to be some natural resources in there that Russia needs.
That's what I'm going to do.
Well, I also heard that countries are paying Israel right now. Oh yeah. They're paying reparations to Israel. Oh yeah. For the Holocaust, still today, they're paying them.
they're financing them with money, with water, with military arsenal, as so that they can live here, free education, free health care, and they don't have to work. They live on them. They have a lot of medical problems. They're dying from all these diseases related to their genetics. So they need to be cradled. They need to be pampered in order to live here securely because, like I know, they can't really survive anywhere so good on the earth. So they have to be a special type of synthetic world crafted around them so they can live safely. Everything is imported on the other side of the wall. The food, the waters, Not all the water, but a lot of it. Everything's imported. They don't do much of anything with the land. The Palestinians eat of the land and enjoy the fruits and the good things of the land. But everybody else eats all the imported goods. Me and my wife, we eat and drink of the land, literally. We don't touch no imported products whatsoever. You know, but it's crazy how, because they can't live if they were to like really start really living off the products and the foods and of the land. They would die. They have to synthesize their food. I know we talked about this before. They have to synthesize their food that they're able to digest it, because they can get like allergic reaction and just drop dead. That's why like every 3-4 generations they have to take one of our women so that they could bear a child that'll have stronger immunity to organic matter, because the lack of the melanin in their DNA, it really sets them up for failure. But that's another story. Go ahead, Elder.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's so true, because of course, Dawayad and myself, we both been to Egypt, and y'all know that the blazing sun, and that's what it's called. It's called the blazing sun. They would never survive in that type of environment to build those pyramids. There's no way they would have been able to survive,
That's the truth.
because they have no melanin in their skin.
That's a joke. Somebody even think
Build a pyramid, sure. They can't build an igloo.
Or a hut. That's the
Right.
mud hut.
They can't build a mud hut. I'm on a pyramid. So yeah, man. The quickest way to get your hands on some I might as well just go ahead and say it. The Shabbat is over here, so the quickest way to get your hands on some appreciating assets is to think in terms of compounded interest,
Yeah, that's the subject.
like what we pay out every day to live. You pay compound interest for your house. You pay compound interest on your car note. All of those things that we have to pay just to live, right? We've never been paid compound interest in our lives. Never. But we're very familiar with it because that's what we pay to live. Your credit card debt, it's all going up every day. Interest compounding on top of interest, compounding on top of interest every day. We're very familiar with that. So the very fact that we know how to pay it, it's going to blow your mind if I say the white man is willing to pay you compounded interest now. And with that interest, with that daily interest, you can accumulate gold and silver. You can do that. No problem. No problem. It's not going to happen from a 9 to 5.
Talk about taking the captivity.
We were talking the other day, Elder, about reversing this thing, flipping the pyramid, right? And since we pay out compounded interest on everything, our house, our car, credit card, our phone bill, and now that we're learning about this compound interest and we're seeking it out for ourselves, and you said something. You said when you flip that from paying compound interest to receiving compound interest, you said something that messed me up. You said taking captivity captive.
In the book of Malachi. What's that, Malachi?
My knees buckled when you said that.
I almost fell back.
I lost
I had
it.
just received that revelation. That revelation hit me just then.
Break that down, please.
Taking captivity captive. Man, that was
Oh
crazy.
man, but I think that because you had cracked the code. See, Dawiyah cracked the code, and I'm only piggybacking. You know what I'm saying? We all get revelation.
Right.
However, when Dawiyah hit that pyramid, I mean the 7 steps. And he was talking about we were talking about compounding interest, and the Lord just hit me at that point and said, we are taking captivity captive. That means that our captivity
Right.
is going to be taken back. We're going to be placed on top. And then we're going to snatch the capstone
Right.
from the enemy and place it back
And-
on the top. And we're going to be, that's where
Right.
we're going to be standing.
So our captivity is based on us paying compound interest just to live.
That's right.
Just to live.
That's right.
Which means like you go to the store today, buy a loaf of bread. You go back tomorrow, that loaf of bread has went up 10%. From $1 to $1.10. From 3 shekels to 3.3 shekels, right? The next day you go back, it's gone up 10 more percent. You understand? From 3.3 shekels to whatever, from $1.10 to what? $1.20. I don't know.
Keep going up every
It
day.
just keeps going up every day. This is what we're paying to live. We've never been taught about this. There is no financial school, institution that will teach us about this. But I'm going to tell y'all, the white man is paying right now compound interest to investors. I've invested and I've been receiving compound interest going on about 12 days now. It's amazing. I've never seen or thought that this ever existed, but it does. And when I get my as I'm getting paid every single day in compound interest, I'm going to get my hands on some gold and silver. Because when gold and silver starts going up, you will be able to live off the dividends without selling your asset. Now that, I know those are a whole bunch of big words, but I'm going to tell you, this is what it means to take captivity captive. In Baruch chapter 3 and 8, it says that we are subject to payments this day in our captivity. Those payments is not interest, it's compounded interest. That means it goes up daily. If you don't pay your rent by the 3rd of the month, what happens? It goes up, right? You got to pay what? $25 late fee or something like that, right? You don't pay it by the 4th, it goes up another $25 late fee. If I couldn't pay my rent in the first place, how am I going to pay the interest and then the compound interest? You understand what I'm saying, y'all? Y'all understand this? This is our captivity. This is what we're subject to. We're subject to payments of compounded interest. We've never received any compound interest on anything, any assets, any business, any royalties, none of that. It's never compounded interest, but whenever you pay, more than likely, if it's important, you're going to be paying compound interest on it. More than likely.
So you notice during the pandemic, the corporations, they the ones that went up because they was getting compounded interest.
Right. During the
everybody
pandemic, a lot of the small businesses closed. They supplied a lot of jobs to the community.
Went like this.
And they went out of business. And the corporations not only survived the pandemic, but they freaking skyrocketed.
It was getting compounded interest.
This is who we're paying compound interest to, is these corporations. What about the money of the is it the U.S. Treasury elder? How it's loaned out at interest and then they print more, and the debt is inquired on top of debt on top of debt. Like, break that down for me, Elder.
Okay, so what people don't understand is that the U.S. Treasury is its own entity apart from the Federal Reserve. That's what people don't know. And the Federal Reserve are the ones that are establishing the interest rates that the banks pay out to each other every day. Now, the interest rates right now on the overnight loan is 0%. But if the Federal Reserve raises the interest rate, let's just say 2.25 basis points, then that means that the U.S. Treasury has to pay out more interest on the loans that they have from other countries. So that 0.25 basis points could mean an extra $15 billion of interest that the U.S. has to pay. See, it's not like us. We're locked into an interest rate when we buy something, like we buy a car, we buy a house, or whatever it may be. But the U.S. Treasury, when they raise interest rates from the Federal Reserve, their rates that they have to pay in interest goes up automatically every day.
Every day. This is our captivity. This is why the more you try to get out of debt, you only acquire more debt.
And sometimes when people, see, since I've been doing this thing, I mean, there is just so much, man. I mean, we don't know anything about the petrodollar. We don't know, anything about derivatives. We don't know anything. See, we don't understand any of that. None of that. But what you also need to understand is the Federal Reserve holds the dollars, not the U.S. Treasury. The Federal Reserve gives it the okay for the U.S. Treasury to make dollars. Well, guess what? That cost, that's going to be a cost in every dollar they make, whether it be the denominations of $1, $5, $10, $20, $100 bills. Well, they're going to have to pay for those dollars. Those dollars are not free. Everybody follow me on this? Those dollars are not free. The U.S. Treasury gets those dollars, they have to pay for it. Then the banks have to pay for those dollars. This is the reason why there is inflation.
Inflation.
It's hard to understand to get everybody to understand this because this is it goes a lot deeper. It even goes a lot deeper than that. Because if you guys ever know that when any company like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, all these big companies, Menards, all of these big companies, when they deal in dollars, they cannot transport those dollars to the bank, just a regular van. They have to get one of those, what's called a Brinks truck. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No.
They got Loomis here in the land, but I think they got Loomis in the state too. The armor truck.
That go to the bank?
Right.
It's called Brinks. We got Brinks.
You got Brinks and Loomis here. Yeah.
When they come to pick up those dollars, or
two dudes walking with a gun,
dollars,
like
they tried to kill Roland when I was a kid.
Huh? They tried
to kill Roland when we was kids. No.
Y'all understand what I'm saying here? I mean, this is some serious
No,
stuff, man.
the dudes from the truck when we was kids.
Y'all Loomis people?
When they have to
Brinks, those
deliver the
Brinks.
dollars, or when they have to pick up those dollars, they have to pay.
Mm.
And then when they deliver those dollars, guess what? I mean, when they pay for those dollars to be delivered, who do they charge? What is those? What is that? I mean, where are those dollars passed on to?
They charge the bank.
All the goods and services that are being
I think
spent
we only have
by
Brinks
the
in this
consumer.
country. This country is so small. I didn't really know. Man. But in the, I think, is that it?
So it's a vicious cycle.
Hello?
Remember that video, Nawayad, that and it's gone.
The and is gone. The South Park video.
Yeah, send that to everybody. This will tell you exactly what the banks are doing.
I don't even know what should I type in.
South Park.
South Park banking. Let's see.
And now more than ever, you need to understand the importance of saving money. Oh man, that was a good video.
And it's gone.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I think I found it. Yeah, y'all watch this when y'all get a chance.
Yeah, just watch that video. I mean, it's a very funny video, but that's exactly what the banks do.
It's just humor, you know.
It's a lot of humor, but there's truth in it. You know, be like that.
I was gonna say that when the you see how those Brinks they come and they protect you.
You gotta come this way so you can
I was gonna say that when you see how the people come from the Brinks and they have like two, each one of them have guns on each side, I think, and they supposedly protecting this money. But when you have real wealth, you have an entire army,
right,
to protect the wealth of corporations and kingdoms and everything. They have
right.
like
real wealthy people have militaries or armies.
Exactly. So like
all these rich people today, they might have one or two bodyguards.
That's it. Like, but even in corporations, like a rich CEO of a corporation, he have as many bodyguards as he need.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's a real.
But if he's really wealthy, he's got an army. He's got a military somewhere.
Yeah, he has an army
to secure his wealth.
Yeah, we talk about thousands.
But these guys is millionaires that, you know, like for example, Kanye. I ain't trying to pick on the dude. Kanye got some bodyguards. He's a billionaire, but he's only got a few bodyguards.
No, he's supposed to have more than that.
Well, if he's got real wealth, see right now, don't forget he's got dollars.
Oh, okay. So if
he's a billionaire that's not really invested in real wealth. He's got some land over there in the States. That's you know, some good wealth. Mm-hmm. But if he really was thinking about securing his wealth, he would take, they say he's worth like over $6 billion. He would take a third of that and put it all in gold and silver.
That's all he needs, just 1/3.
Just 1/3 of that, and his family will never have to ever work generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. They'll never have to work again. Never.
So real.
But knowing him, you know, he's an entertainer. So he's gonna do what the entertainers do. They're gonna consume, you know, maybe launch a few real estate companies, maybe a restaurant. You know, he's talking about a farm. That's cool, but that's not what the billionaires do. You know what I mean? I ain't here to pick on the dude, but you know, he does claim to be a Hebrew, so I always use him as an example. He's an example of what not to do. You know.
Remember who gave him his money, so he's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember how he got into that's the industry he's in.
Yeah, he's in the industry, so you know, The industry guys, you ever notice that they all go broke once they get out, once they retire or whatever, they all go broke and they end up having to do crazy things to stay relevant because they're never, it doesn't make sense to be a millionaire, billionaire and never ever be taught financial literacy. And you can hit like 5 birds with one stone just knowing what real money is. That's like half the battle right there. Just knowing what money is. You know? If Kanye took $1 billion, just $1 billion, and put it in gold and silver, man, they would probably have to take him out. They would take him out because that would solidify his lineage on the pyramid above all black people. It doesn't put him above the white people, but it definitely, because remember, there's a pyramid within every nation. You know, I'm about to go deep with y'all. Every nation has a royal family that they have an obligation and a duty to protect and uphold and go to war for. Every nation does. You know, in the white nation, they have the 13 families of the Illuminati. In the Arab nations, the real ones, not the white ones, the real ones, they got, you know, the Ishmaelites and whatnot. In the Israelite family, we have the House of David and the Zadokites. Those are our royal families, and maybe a couple families of Joseph, you know. And we have an obligation and a duty to uphold and honor, as well as even go to war for those families. You understand what I'm saying? And those families, like he said, those are our royal families. A king has wealth, and wealth is money, and money is silver and gold. You know, it's not about how many zeros you got in your bank account, unless you're putting those zeros to use, you know, for the future of your lineage and your tribe. Because even though we're at the bottom of the white man's pyramid, it doesn't mean you have to be at the bottom of the Israelite pyramid, because we have a pyramid within our nation as well. The royal families at the top, the nobles, the noble princes up under that, and then everybody else up under that. Matter of fact, I'm going to post some of the pictures of the different pyramids of the ancient time, of today's time, and then of Israelite time. I want y'all to look at this. This is important. This. Now we're going into politics. Because I did a breakdown on pyramids maybe a month ago or something like that, and a lot of people loved it and understood it, but I didn't go into the politics because the pyramid was ordained by God. It's ordained by the Most High. That means somebody has to be on the bottom and somebody has to be on the top. There is no such thing as a democracy. There's no such thing as communism. You know, this thing is God's political structure. See, now, you know, we went into God's money. Now, I'm going to say a little bit about God's political structure, right? So, like I said, every nation has a royal family that they have a duty, an obligation to honor, to serve, as well as to even go to war and kill for. And everybody knows this except for us. Why? Because we have been having an obligation to go to war for and kill for, you know, the people that have us in captive.
Our order was destroyed.
Right. Our pyramid was destroyed. Somebody got a question or something? Yeah. So if you look at these pyramids, right? Nobody's saying that. Who's on the call? Okay. If you look at these pyramids I just put in the chat, right? You'll see the ancient politics of the world during the days of Solomon and David, right? Then you see the politics of today you'll see those pyramids are exact opposites. Like during Solomon and David's time, we was at the top of the pyramid, and Edom and Canaan was at the bottom. And if you look at today's pyramid political structure, you'll see Edom and Canaan at the top, and you'll see the Israelite nation at the bottom. And when I say Israelite, I mean black people on the continent as well as the diaspora. You understand? But there's a direct correlation to the political structure of the ancient days and the times of today. And the only thing that dictates that is that the capstone of the pyramid always has all the wealth. And then it just trickles down from there. You understand? It just trickles from there. But is that making sense to y'all? The Most High ordained the pyramid. It's all over the Bible. You just got to understand the ancient Hebrew culture. The pyramids are not Egyptian. All nations were building pyramids from the Tower of Babel all the way to just recently before the white man took over. You know, so the pyramid structure is ordained. And we're genetically superior, which means we're genetically the capstone. We're intellectually superior, which means we're the capstone intellectually. We're artistically and creatively the capstone. You know, what else? We eat, drink, dance, clothe ourselves better than all the nations. We are the capstone in all areas except for economically and politically, which means by default, those two sectors, we don't have a base, which puts us by default at the bottom of the pyramid. And all nations on the pyramid serve the capstone. And the nation at the top of the nation at the capstone of the pyramid owns all the gold and silver, just like the elder was bringing out. But you have the chance to flip that right now by accumulating gold and silver. And you need to get with me after this call if you having trouble getting the funds. If you don't know who to call, if you're in the States, you need to get with the elder. He'll point you in the right direction on where to get it. You know, if you're on my side, we can get ours for $5 an ounce over here. Literally. With $100, you can have 20 ounces. You know, that's just that's crazy. That's unbelievable. But that's only because we're living in a time of a crisis like Joseph. Joseph became the capstone in the time of a crisis. 1929, before the Great Depression, was a time of the crisis. That's when these guys who rule the world today, that's when they really kind of took over. I believe, in my opinion.
Is that when they implemented the
That's when they took the silver standard away from the dollar. The dollar used to be backed by silver.
And they made banknotes.
Right.
And gave us
paper
certificate
receipts.
And
all of that, yeah.
So we can even be traded on the
right.
stock market.
That happened then. Yeah. So once you get yourself some resources that you own, I mean you own them. You're not paying rent on them. You're not paying interest or what they call it, compounded interest. You own them. That automatically disqualifies you from being a slave. When you own resources and assets, you know. And I'm not talking about going to work, getting a job and a paycheck. I'm not talking about that. You understand? I'm talking about real generational wealth and money that your job will never pay. Your job will never pay you compound interest. Never.
Actually, you paying them.
Right. Absolutely. You're paying them compound interest in terms of your energy, your time, and your spirit, your creativity, your essence. You know. But the white man today in 2022, it just so happens we in the middle of a crisis right now. The white man is paying us He's offering to pay us compound interest. Did y'all hear me? Did y'all hear that?
It's the first time it happened, right?
It's the first time ever that I've ever been or seen black people getting paid compound interest. Do y'all hear me? Y'all on this call? It's the first time ever. It's never happened before. My father didn't get it. His father didn't get it. His father didn't get it, going all the way back to slavery. But this generation, the white man is offering to pay you compound interest for your assets.
Remember, in slavery, we were the money.
Right. In slavery, we were the assets.
That's why we don't understand about these.
I know it's hard to understand, but I'm going to be doing a lot of videos talking about this, trying to raise the consciousness of my people. And you do got to be mature for this.
Right.
You got to have a different level of maturity to even grasp this. But we're in the middle of a crisis. Think like Joseph. Think like an investor. You understand?
You know what, Daria? I just perceived something about what's happening today and why people are now paying compounding interest. To people that have investments. And the reason why is because the dollar is drying up.
Right.
And they still need to build their empires, build their corporations. They need to have billions of dollars of investments to fund, a certain project. So as people start to move away from the dollar, there's still these people that are still in the dollar that need to try to keep it going so that they can get the things that they need to get. And so therefore there's this guy that's set up the whole thing of this compounding interest so that he could get as many dollars as he can before this thing dries up.
Right. Right.
You know why that is?
And this is the reason why I'm getting
because even
I'm
if they at the top of the pyramid, they still don't have the resources that we have.
Get some type of return.
Well, the best resource is always going to be bodies, manpower. It's always going to be that. So whoever controls the guns, is always going to have a lot of power.
Also time.
And time is worth more than money. Time is a more valuable resource than money. But back to what I was saying, whoever controls the guns is going to always have an army, because whether that army is working in a warehouse building a empire or franchise for a wealthy person, or they're running on a battlefield fighting in a war, that person is going to be very wealthy because he controls all the guns. The other guy that's going to be very wealthy is the guy that's got the gold and silver. The other guy that's going to be wealthy is the guy that's got the land. Those three or four things is the top. Manpower, gold and silver, land.
And there's another issue with that as well, and that is a lot of these investors have the land. However, they don't own the land.
Right.
It is also mortgaged out. So a lot of land is, remember now, when Joseph bought the land, he
right.
bought the land from the Egyptians, and he put them on the outskirts. He put them in the suburbs,
Right, right,
all the way out there, the borders of the borders of Egypt. So there's a lot of this is going to happen where we're going to be able to just get as much land as we'll be able to buy
right,
millions of acres.
right.
Listen, millions of acres of land.
They systematically keep us off the land, and they systematically keep us away from the guns in some places. But they're not systematically keeping us from the gold and silver. They're brainwashing us, but you can still just go and get all the gold and silver you want right now. And they're betting
All
on
the gold
us.
and silver you want.
They're betting on us, not even thinking about it, not even caring. We thinking about everything else. You got millionaire and billionaire brothers getting together. They're going to build a city in Georgia. They're going to build a city in Michigan. They're going to build a city all over the place in Alabama. But none of them, none of these financial gurus are preparing the people for this collapse. You know, none of them. And I'm not telling you drop everything you're doing and spend everything you have on the gold and silver. No, I mean, we still got to survive in the meantime. But let's just be honest. We black. We accumulate Jordans. We accumulate nice clothes. We accumulate video games. What else? All these things we accumulate. We need to be accumulating gold and silver the same way and take our mind off of all of these frivolous things. Because none of those things are appreciating assets. And anybody who's caught holding those things when all this thing goes down, oh, you going back into slavery. It don't make no sense to be serving 400 years of slavery and then you go into a new one, a new slavery. Nah, brother, not me. Nah.
And you know what? It's sad because the people that enslaved us in the corporations, they want to stay relevant, so they have to brainwash you and distract you from what's going on. Because they're like, I'm not ready to not be in power. I'm not ready for that day that you become who you're supposed to be. So
we can't with our eyes open. Listen, you all eyes are open.
Right.
You can't go. You can't go back. If your eyes have been open, you've got to go forward. You got to get this gold and silver, or you got to get silver more than gold. I forgot to tell you that there's two wealth transfers that's going to take place. The first wealth transfer that's going to happen is that gold and silver is both going to go up. They're both going to go up. They're both going to do numbers that people never imagined them to do. The second wealth transfer is going to take place when silver becomes more expensive than gold.
Yeah.
There's going to be a changing of the guard. That is going to be the second wealth transfer, and that second wealth transfer will happen it'll happen soon after the first wealth transfer. When gold and silver goes up, they find out that there's hardly any silver left over, and then silver is going to become more expensive than gold.
What was the name of that cartoon you was watching? The Silver Dragon?
Because right now,
the dragon,
there's 8 billion ounces of gold in the world, and it's increasing. And there's only 1 billion ounces of silver that's coming out of the ground, and it's already allocated and bought. So what does that mean? That means that
it got some points, but it's really a distraction.
The amount of silver available for corporations, I'm not talking about jewelry and bullion that you can buy from, to get your coins and bars and things of that nature. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 50 million ounces that Nissan needs, the 20 million ounces that Microsoft needs. We're talking about those numbers, and the amount that's needed is 1.2 billion. So there's 200 million ounces that's not available, and every year there are over 600 patents that require silver. So all the silver that's needed to, for artificial intelligence, for solar power, they're putting silver in boots. They're putting silver oxide in socks and underwear. They're putting it in countertops in the kitchen. They're putting it in Tupperware in the plastic containers. They're putting it on screens. When touch screens. For computers and for ATMs. So they're putting it in places where, they're putting it in sheets and pillowcases. I mean, they're putting it everywhere. They're putting it in what is it? Of course, water purification units. They're making colloidal silver. They are using it in medical devices. They're using it in when you get a cut. They're using it for healing wounds. They're getting ready to put it into toothpaste. I mean, it's going into every conceivable thing. And as the silver gets consumed, there's hardly anything left. So this is why silver is going to go and be more expensive than gold, because there's enough gold to go around for each person in the world. Each person could have a one ounce of gold, but the silver, there's nothing left.
Wow. The scarcity always drives the price up, and that's coming, man. Probably in September. That's coming. Any of y'all investing in the crypto, investing in the stocks, the scarcity of an asset drives the price higher every time. So if that's true what you're saying, oh yeah, be looking out for a change in silver by September or October. Just my theory. That's my theory.
Silver is already outperforming gold right now. Even though it's at a low price, it's still outperforming gold. Now, during the 1500s, silver was the number one metal, and gold was the number two metal. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Y'all hear what I'm saying? Silver was the number one metal. It was the most expensive metal in the world. And then gold was the number two metal.
Do you know if they're making bricks?
But they switched it. They made gold the number one metal, and they made silver the number two metal, which meant that there was a wealth transfer in the 1500s.
That's how you kill a werewolf.
So now there is an abundance of gold, over 8 billion ounces, and silver. There's the scarcity is very, very low. There's not a lot.
All I did was watch Werewolf.
So silver is going to become the number one metal, and gold the number two metal again.
That's real amazing.
So all this stuff that you all are getting, practically no one in the United States, and we're talking about lay people, we're not talking about the investors, because the investors know exactly what's going on.
The investors always stay ahead of the market. This is what this call is predominantly about. The princes of Israel, we have to stay ahead of the market. We're the investors. And when that pyramid flips, we will be investing in the capstone of that pyramid.
If anyone, how many of you are in the United States?
Everybody except for a couple of us.
I know Jay is in the United States.
Or three of us. Three of us on the line is not from the States, and 50% on this call is in the States.
Oh, 3 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You all that are not in the States, go to your markets. Go to the markets and to ascertain where you can get the silver and find out how much the price is. You'll be surprised that, since anytime that there's not a demand for silver in a particular nation, it's just like Palestine where Dawiyat is, it's only $5 an ounce. That's a steal. I mean, that's the wealth transfer right there, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you just gonna walk in and you're going to steal it.
I just walk in there and be like, give me the left side of this shop, the whole left side. I'll pay you $250 for the whole shop.
I'm pretty sure if you had
You know what this lady was
$50,000
telling me on the other side?
and maybe even less,
I walked
you'll
in
be
her
able to
shop and
buy
asked
the
her
whole
about
place.
the gold, right? She said, and I showed her my silver too. She said, I don't want the silver, I just want the gold.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want, you don't want
So it's
to buy the place. You know what you want? You want to know where they're getting it from.
You know they can grow it artificially in the lab.
What, silver?
And gold. I know they can do that with rubies, emeralds, sapphires, amethysts, diamonds. They can grow all of them artificially in the lab. Actually, you know what? I don't know that about gold and silver, but I do know that about the minerals.
Well,
I knew that about the precious minerals, the gemstones. And we all know a diamond ain't nothing. That's a damn stone we throw at a car that ain't nothing. That has no historical value whatsoever. Women's best friend, my ass. They ain't nothing.
So with diamonds, they're using diamonds for different things. But a diamond on its own, it's not worth anything. It's not worth nothing.
Right.
So this is why when you get a diamond ring, wait a minute. Why would they call it a diamond ring? Why wouldn't they call it a gold diamond ring or a silver diamond ring? No, they don't do that. They call it a diamond ring because they want to emphasize the diamond. And then when you buy that diamond, when you buy that ring, the price you're going to pay is going to be so much more. It's going to be sometimes 10 to 100 times the amount that it's really worth. So when you go and buy a diamond ring, just think about it. You go and buy a diamond ring for your wife, if you're married, or if you ever got married, and you pay between $2,500 to $3,000. Well, the gold content in that ring is probably maybe 1.5 grams. Okay, so and the diamond, they're going to charge you maybe about $2,900 for that, $2,800 for it. But if you knew that you could go and buy a 1-ounce gold coin for $2,000, and you'd be able to buy a 1 ounce coin, that a 1 ounce silver coin. You'll be able to buy. Let's see, for $1,000, you'll be able to buy. Let's see. You'll be able to buy at least 150 ounces of silver for $1,000. Now you've got real wealth. But this is why people sometimes say, I can't afford gold or I can't afford silver. Well, you paid $3,000 for that diamond ring. And the gold is not even, you don't even have 1.5 grams of gold in that ring.
What?
And the gold may not be 24 karat. It might be 14 karat.
Who's that? What can you do?
So yeah, go and do your research. Go online. Go to Gold and Silver News on YouTube. Look at those videos. Listen to what these quote-unquote white men have to say about this wealth transfer. Listen to what they have to say about the Great Reset. Because they're going to tell you. At first, they're going to say, hey, look, we want to tell you that this Great Reset is going to happen, and all the dollar instruments, the stocks, bonds, mutual funds, the 401ks, the derivatives, the ETFs, all of these things are going to crash. And the only thing that's going to be left is gold and silver. So you need to get out there and get your gold and silver. Get out there and get as much as you can. And you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Because all of these other paper instruments are just going to be worthless. Okay?
So yeah, man, I'm compounding my interest right now as we speak. Shabbat is over, and my compounded interest thus far is over. Let me see. It's over 60% right now.
You say it's over 60%?
Over 65% since about a week and a half ago. What are you doing? Stop that. Yep. It's over 65%. This is only in 10, 11 days. Almost 2 weeks. It's going on 2 weeks. You can't get this in 1 year with a bank. Central bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Washington Mutual. Our whole captivity is based on us having to pay compounded interest. We've never been able to be paid compound interest before. We are taking captivity captive. And this generation, I believe, is the only generation that has that opportunity. It's the only generation that's got that opportunity. Our parents didn't have that opportunity. They had to work. They had to serve their enemies and want of all things. Our parents' generation, they didn't have that choice either. This is the blessing of being aware right now, you know. I believe that we're always waiting for some wealthy people from America or wherever to come in here and lead this thing, some celebrity or entertainers or something like that. But no. We've been here the whole time. It's our job. It's our responsibility. You know, these entertainers, they're going to continue to serve the people that made them rich. I'm signing out, fellas.
All right. Hey, peace and blessings.
I'm going to take me a nap, but get with me, man. Tomorrow, I'm going to crash. I'm tired.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the rest of you brothers.
Shalom.
That was a good build, man. I had fun, man. We got to do that again.
Yeah, we have to do that again, though, y'all. Peace and blessings, everyone. Righteousness shall prevail.